All right, guys. This is your boy, the JIM on the Very Opinionated Show. I will be hosting tonight. Man, it is good to be here. We got Scratch Daddy is in the house. Come on, say something to the people, Scratch Daddy.
What's happening, y'all? What's happening?
All right, we got my boy Rod T. Come on,
What's
say
going on,
something to
y'all? What's going on? Appreciate y'all watching us, and thank you for letting me be on the show with you. It's a pleasure.
my good friend Dr. Hagler. Say
Hey,
something.
what's going on, everybody? I'm looking forward to this podcast and chiming in on my thoughts. So, thank y'all for joining.
And my main man, Dr. Evans. What's going on, Doc Evans?
How's it going, guys? Sorry I'm late for holding y'all up.
we are just glad that you blessed us with your presence, man. You know, it's I believe it's going to be a good night tonight on this subject. We're talking about inflation and is the stimulus is connected to it. Now, just my thought on it. Inflation, it's a kind of a tricky word because it can anything can be inflated. Depends on how you're looking at it. Because some people say, well, the cost of living and all of that should be in line with inflation when imported goods are being raised. And I think when you're talking about food and basic needs of a household, just my opinion, it should not be that much inflated. I can see, vehicles and, hell, even clothes. But when you're talking about bare necessities, I think inflation is a little bit too much. But I'm gonna let you guys chime in on this inflation. Come on, Dr. Hagler. Come on, give me your opinion on inflation.
Well, what I think it is, first of all, inflation. It's kind of the rapid increase of goods and service, the price of goods and services. You know, um, beyond our the income of the consumer.
Right.
And I think that we are, it's definitely, notable inflation going on. And so, but I don't think that a lot of the general public is not noticing it because, some of them may be blinded by all of this quote unquote extra, so called extra money that everybody's getting. So, um, that's I have more comments to come as we get into it. So that's my initial thought on inflation. So
Okay, come on, Doc Evans. What do you think on this inflation? Because I know I noticed some, in fluctuated prices on food, and I'm like, man, wait a minute, man, I got mouths to feed, and it's costing a brother tight, boy. We got to be tight right here. So, give me your opinion on have you noticed any inflation right after the stimulus?
Man, I walked into the grocery store yesterday just to purchase a head of lettuce, and I'm just 35 years old, and I can remember when my mama sent me to the grocery store, the lettuce was like 75 cents, and just recently here when I went in the store to get the lettuce was $1.75. I said,
Wow,
wait a minute, man.
wow.
I know it's something definitely wrong. And another instance, just yesterday I was at the gas pump and
Ooh.
our family truck is a Infinity QX56 and it like Supreme gas, right?
Right.
So I put like $50, man, and I got right up under the halfway mark, and I was like, man, I need to change something.
Uh-huh.
This getting serious. I'm starting to feel it, man. So
Right,
when
right.
you told me what the topic was, I was like, man, it's right on time because
Yeah.
some gotta be talked about. We gotta put our heads together
Try to
and
figure out some things.
and yeah, I'm gonna share this with you too. I'm not gonna take up a bunch of time, but like as far as how I was doing my bills and stuff,
Right.
like I could pretty much use my head and know where everything was, without writing it down on paper. But
Correct.
man, just a few months ago, stuff had got out of control, and I'm like,
You had to pull out the pad, huh?
my wife's birthday popped up, and I'm like, man, we thought somebody was stealing money, man. I had to go back to writing stuff down again just this month, bro. I ain't telling you no lie. I'm telling you the truth. To go back to writing down stuff, man. I'm like, man, I don't use no drugs. Man, look.
Right.
Yeah, it's serious. It's
Yeah.
serious, man.
Come on, Rod. Come on, Rod T. Come on. Tell me your definition and your input on inflation. What do you think about it? Have you noticed any changes?
Yes, I have, because personal, story. I've been in this area where we live now for about, let's just say, about 30 years of my life, and I'm 40 now. So I've been here a while.
Right.
And, when we was younger, we used to always go into this little convenience store that was around the corner from our apartments. And I remember, if you had $20 back then, you can get you a whole gang of stuff. But that same 20 today, man, you might can get you. It goes a lot quicker now, because you might get you maybe like 1/5 of the things you did back in the day. You know what I mean? Like, I could just look at, we used to always drink the little canned sodas. I think they used to sell them for like 50 cents. Now they $1. And
right.
like, the bottle sodas, they used to be like maybe $1. Now they $2.50. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
everything, especially and like you said, once they gave out that those stimuluses, that's when I really saw it. I'm like, oh wow, yeah. Like Brother Marvin said, yeah, you better get tight on your budgeting skills, man, because it's real. It's
real. Poor people, we need to function more. But I had to bring my man in here, Scratch Daddy. He has this business major, so come on, Scratch Daddy.
No, I didn't finish, so I can't give him too much on it. But
that's all right. Give him something, man, because come on.
I think I went far enough to be able to, go a little bit on this subject, because like Ryan T said, from a personal standpoint, years ago I started noticing, because we use a lot of Manda sauces. We put it in the gumbo, the jambalaya, whatever.
Right.
And just around about 2018, I was telling people, man, I noticed, bro, they done cut back on the they used to give you 5 pounds, now it's 3. And not only that, the price done went from $6.99 to $9.99.
What?
Even when you make the gumbo, they used to sell it the crowd by the dozen. Now they sell it by the pound. So you used to could get a dozen of crab medium for about $12.99, basically like $1 a crab. They sell it by the pound, you might get 4. You see?
No way.
It makes me think about what's behind it. Why is all the companies doing it? And what is the purpose of it? Like, I mean, we all know that the inflation is an artificial increase of consumer goods, and is directly tied to the money in the economy. Right now, we're getting the stimulus checks, unemployment, whatever. The money's the economy is being flooded with money.
Correct.
So of course, the government, they always got a system in place to get everything they give us, they could get it right back.
They get it right back.
I'm still not understanding till this day, when they owe us money, we don't get interest. But if we owe them a penny, we got to pay them back about $5.
Ain't that something?
Yeah. So go ahead.
But this is what I want us to realize, that nothing that your government gives you is free.
It's free.
It just not. It's just not free. Period.
Yeah.
You just ain't gonna get nothing free.
That dollar is not free. That's why we pay all the taxes, because we're paying for the use of the Federal Reserve dollar. You know, and the value of the money is directly correlated to the quantity and quality of the money. Of
Right.
course, you know, I can't remember when the gold standard was done away with. I know it had to be like maybe in the 70s. I might be wrong, but it's not backed by anything. And you just printing money with nothing backing it up. You send this money, you ship pallets full of money to these other countries for their products and services, and they send you their products and services, and that money has no value. You know, so we getting further and further in debt. And see what I just said. I don't know why we do that. We, as if we're, you know, like America really looks at us as a teammate, you know, but we getting further and further in debt. We got to try to get that deficit down. But how? That's a battle you will never win. You know. So go ahead.
So, but why is that? That we can't get it down? Because I don't know, because we demand so much. Come on, Dr. Hagley.
Well, we always paying for something, a war or whatever.
Right.
You know?
Right. Come on, Dr. Hagley. Expound on that.
Let me kind of roll back one point here.
Okay.
In terms of this, the inflation versus the stimulus. Okay, I think many of us who need to really look into it, because a lot of us, we get this, however much money, what it is, 1,000, 3,000, 500, whatever it is, we get this money in, and we think, hey, we came up, but like my man, Scratch Daddy said, hey, it's designed for us to put it right back into the system, okay,
right,
and we're not getting, like you said, we're not getting anything for free. Okay, because that's it's what the problem. That's why they call it a stimulus, to stimulate the economy, to put it back, not to stimulate your bank account, to stimulate the economy.
And we really think that. We really think that. For some reason, for some godforsaken reason, we really think that.
And most of us are not going to keep that money and put it in a saving. We're going to go spend it, and I have a. I think there's some sort of connection between the office of the president, office of the president of the United States, has something to do with that, because now, I wasn't on a lot of things. I wasn't a Trump fan, but I guarantee you this: we didn't have high gas prices.
We didn't.
We wasn't sending all this money out.
We didn't.
And don't get me wrong, I think on both sides of the coin, they both got their flaws, Democratic and Republican.
Correct.
But you got to look at it from a long-term standpoint. How is it going to hit us in the long term? Taking all this money, it's going to hit us in the long term. And like I said, and my man said, we're going to stay in debt, because we're going to pay for all that money getting sent out. That's
of course. Yeah. Come on, Doc Evans.
Well,
come on,
yeah, I believe it, man. Yeah, they say ain't nothing free, man. So I believe they getting it back from me right now, man. I just want to be honest with everyone.
Well, yeah, you making all that money as being that truck driver, because truck drivers in high demand now. And boy, look at you. Well, these cats I've been coming across, they making $100,000 easy.
Yeah, and yeah, sure enough, man. And then not only that, these companies that we're working for are making millions of dollars.
Millions.
And they still get along with the government are trying to find,
loopholes,
ways to take back from your, even though you working, you driving the truck, they still trying to find like little ways, to take back, and it's getting sickening, man. Like I said, I had to start back, writing down stuff. Everybody know they money, they situations, they bills,
correct.
Kind of like on the top of their head. But
right.
I thought I did until this last couple months, and man, I thought it was a vacuum hooked up to it or something. I was like, man, what's going on?
Come on, Rod. T. Come on, Rod.
Okay. Can I just kind of want to speak on something that I heard. I don't know where I heard, maybe online or somewhere, that by the time I get retirement age, there probably won't be no more Social Security. So my thing is, if I'm still paying it, if I get taxed every check, y'all see them. I'm pretty sure, all y'all get it taxed. Why are we not going? Why is that money running out? You know what I mean? And is that kind of a correlation to this to these stimuluses, or that's really a question I just want to ask to the panel. I was just wondering about that. And is that, like, I guess related in this?
Hold up. Well, to be just in my opinion and what I have researched, I definitely, I know my child would not have no Social Security, so it's like I have to teach her about saving, about putting money aside, whether it's an annuity or 401k plan or 457, something that cause right now, I have to put a trust fund that it will have to collect interest, a couple of bonds set aside for her. But it's a shame where we are living in the richest country, I probably say, in the world. And it's like we really not rich. It's like we didn't borrow every cent, from China, and they just got us in the palm of our hand doing whatever, and it's where I have begun to notice that, the stimulants that they have, I guess, people say have given us, even with the child credit thing, like, man, you're not really helping me out. You really not, because you're going to get it back. Eventually you're going to get it back. So it's like you loaning me temporary money and you're going to get it back. Yeah. But it's like a hard pill to swallow. So come on, Scratch Daddy, and tell me, what do you think about just them just handing us this money? And a lot of people are thinking that, man, I'm going to just splurge and I'm going to go on these trips and, even with unemployment, because I know somebody right now. Hell, I even had when I was getting unemployment, I had to pay that money back. They taxed the hell out of me and get their money back, and they fought every tooth and nail. I'm showing them paperwork after paperwork. They didn't want to hear all that. They were like, just give me my money back. So come on, Ramon, and Scratch that and tell me what the business is.
Well, it kind of reminds me of the analogy, the gambler that doesn't want to leave the casino. Man, if I could I'm gonna go get $20 more, and I'm gonna try one more time, see if I can win some of that money back. And debasing the money. I mean, they on a fast track to destroying America as a whole. Period.
Ooh, that's some strong words to say there, Doc.
And I totally believe it. I was listening to what Marvin was talking about, and it made me think about the situation that's currently going on with the truck drivers. And I'm wondering if that's directly related to inflation and stimulus. They're saying that it's a truck driver shortage.
Correct.
I don't believe that.
I don't believe it either, because you got a whole bunch of guys with CDL license.
Yeah, and they say part of the finagling is them wanting to introduce those autonomous semis. I mean, try to stay on course, but I'm just saying, I don't see a good situation coming out of that. You got a however many 1,000-pound vehicle with no driver. Yeah. So yeah. I'm wondering if that's. Go ahead.
No, they tried that with the Uber, but go ahead. Because
I'm wondering if the economy, the stimulus, and inflation got something to do with all that stuff. Because they're saying that the products, China's products, are still, either in the ocean, sitting in the ocean, or still in China. So, I'm wondering, why is that going on? And is it directly related to inflation?
I think it is. And just in my opinion, Come on, Dr. Hagler, and expound on what Scratch Dad had just spoke of.
Yeah, that's a good question in terms of those goods and that are sitting out there. I think a lot of them are sitting out there. I saw a video the other day of but all of these ships just sitting in the middle of the water. Um, you know, um, I think it is. First of all, I think the effect that has on this economy and this inflation is the fact that you got all these goods and products which we all are seeing a lack of on our shelves. Look at our vehicles. Can't our vehicles look like empty parking lots, and and you can't get half the stuff order off of Amazon sometime lately. You can't get it in a timely fashion, especially from coming
Right.
from. So
Correct.
so what we have here, we do have in our possession on these shelves or in stock. Hey, we're gonna skyrocket these prices up, and we're gonna get the most that we can. And I know that kind of falls into a supply and demand type deal, but I think those folks in high places can use that as being I guess a vessel to say of to inflate prices. Because it goes back to political, man. Too political has a big role in this thing. So, but I do think those products and that are sitting out there or not even been shipped over has an adverse effect on this inflation.
Correct.
I really do. Yeah.
Come on, Doc Evans. Now, let me ask you this, Marvin.
Mhm.
And you drive trucks, and I know y'all out there in the trucking world, and you probably come across a lot of stories, and I just think that. But let me just ask you this: do you think that if there is a shortage, as they say, or they just trying to use that to deflect and to make people think that, hey, this is one of the reasons why we don't have really a lot of goods on the shelves. You got to wait a month for this, and because I go to HEB now, and there's certain items they haven't gotten yet, and I'm like, hey, when y'all gonna get some? Well, the truck haven't come in yet, and all this other stuff. So they would say, but I just think that's just a stall tactic to make people to constantly just try to buy something. Tell me what your thoughts on that.
Uh, the I don't think it's a well, I'm gonna share some information about like as far as trucking goes and trying to get like drivers in.
Correct.
It was okay. So the trucking business is separated into you got the people that drive the dry vans and the refrigerated vans, and then you got the people that drive the tanks. That
Right.
haul like liquids or food grade liquids and
Correct.
liquids and stuff like that. And so it's they say it's hard to get people, like they have hard time finding someone to get their experience up to and like it's hard to find people to pass those drug tests and stuff like that. So it's
Okay.
yeah, they have a more difficult time with stuff like that. Like
So is that pretty
so
much? Is
so
that pretty much? Go
to
ahead. Go ahead.
explain what you're saying, the shortage, like it's probably like been the same amount of truck drivers, right?
Correct.
But now cities are growing, so it's more of a demand. The industry hasn't lost truck drivers, even though it's harder to hire a truck driver right now. it hasn't lost truck drivers. It's just more demand. Cities are growing, more stores, more businesses are open, and you know now you need more and more truck drivers than what you had at first. So you
Okay,
know
so
it's
so what I'm hearing, I
uh-huh.
mean the culture, but what I'm hearing, what you're saying is that more high demand for personnel uh to get the goods out,
Hmm.
but these individuals or people that they cannot meet the requirements to become a truck driver or to try to deliver the goods.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But do you
So
think
let me
those
let me
companies
add
are
this. Now.
helping?
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. Go
Look,
ahead. Go ahead.
I'm gonna add this. Like the you seen like the unemployment rate. It kind of shot up a little bit,
Right.
and
Okay. Because
it's
that's what I really
because
want to hit on. Go ahead. Go ahead. You're
yeah,
making a
it's
good
the
point.
unemployment rate shot up because it's people they really like scared of the COVID disease. So it's people quitting their jobs because of that. Like
Ooh.
drivers
Okay. Now
and all
you didn't
kind of
open up a
stuff.
can of worms on that, Marvin. You didn't open up a can of worms because
Yeah.
that's catch twofold. Because yeah, I can understand COVID,
Hmm.
but also I can understand unemployment because the people that say, "Man, I make more money just staying at home than
Hmm.
actually going to work."
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? Come on, Raw T. Come on. What do you think about that? Because I just for me personally, I you know I have heard that a lot, and even with my job, a lot of people didn't want to come back because they said, "Man, I make more money staying home." So,
Hmm.
but what you think about that, Raw? I just think it's unfair. But go ahead.
I just think that's a magnifying glass on this society that we live in. Because I think you said it earlier, huh? This is one of the richest countries in the world. So you telling me there's not enough money to go around to pay people a fair, even if with inflation and all that. But we still it's still a lot of money being generated. But it seemed like it just goes straight to the top, and it's like a blockade from the top to the workers because
That's
what
strong.
what brother
That's a good
Marvin
strong.
said. What brother Marvin said is they haven't really lost too many drivers. It sounds like they're being stretched in. So and people scared of COVID, but like you said, you scared of it, but like you still got to go out and make a living. So
Correct.
if people were being compensated fairly, I believe that would ease a lot of tension on going to work. If you like you just said, I can sit at home and make more money on unemployment than going out to work. That's a problem. You know what I mean? Like that's something
Right.
that's something flawed in the system because it shouldn't be like that.
Okay. Now hold your thought. Scratch daddy. With the cost of healthcare going up, is that related to COVID as well as stimulants?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I
Come on, give
mean,
give me your
it,
thought on that because I
it,
just
it,
man, it's
it
too
all
much
goes
trickery.
back to all the
Sound
money
like too much
being.
trickery going on. But
It
go
all
ahead.
goes back to the all the money being artificially inserted into the economy.
Mhm.
So everybody gonna get a piece of the pie, especially healthcare. I mean, all this was designed for healthcare to win. I'm talking about the
But
COVID
that's
situation,
what it sounds like. Yeah, that,
but
that's a good point. That's a real
I'm
good point.
wondering if like the stuff Marvin was talking about. When we talk about inflation, it usually has a negative effect. But something he said like really blew my mind. These cities are growing.
That
So
is true.
is inflation driving the growth of these cities? I mean, of course, with inflation, we pay more a higher price for less product. So I mean, that's what it sounds like. Like inflation is actually growing the economy and these cities.
Come on, Dr. Hagler, because sound like trickery to me. That's just what I'm thinking. That's just how I'm viewing. Because it sounds like real you tricking the American public into getting in something that they have no clue in what's going on.
2 points I want to make. One first is okay. Um, we're concerned to how this economy is being flooded with all this money, and we were saying why people you can't get people back to work. Okay, like you said, people are sitting at home making more money than they were going out, getting up every day, go get, and working for it. But I just, there are people that's like, I'm not doing it. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to work. But us working folks are really paying the price because we got to get up every morning, put gas in that tank,
Yes,
you
sir.
know, and we got to buy food for our families. But,
Correct.
but we still got to get up, go to work while other folks, they sit there, and they take, and take take and not put back in,
Correct.
but all that's gonna come to an end. But check this out, to the point of scratch that, you're building all these cities up, cities are growing. Here's the magic question here. Will this hyper inflation send us into a depression
Yeah,
eventually?
Ooh, wait,
yeah.
hold up. Come on, Scratch Daddy. Come on,
Mm.
come on. You know what? I ain't thought about that one, Dr. Hagler, but
Before we get into the hyper depression, because I mean, that was a mind blowing statement. But I'm listening to Hagler, and it didn't hit me until now. Y'all done said it over and over, but it didn't hit me until he said it just now. People sitting at home, but they got money. So who winning while somebody's sitting at home and they got money? Companies that sell stuff online, they
Mm.
make billions of
oh, I
dollars.
tell you.
You see what I'm saying? And Hagler just made me think about that. And y'all, Ryan T said it, Marvin said it. People sitting at home, but it never dawned on me. But what you do when you're at home and you bored and you got nothing to do, and you got some money that you didn't have to work for? Because when you go to work, you spend your money wisely.
Wisely.
Yeah,
That's yeah.
you know,
real wisely.
Yeah,
You know what? That's
true.
that's excellent because I'm gonna tell you. I mean, man, you can buy groceries online now, have them delivered to your house, and you never have to,
right,
you know.
right.
But I like how Dr. Had brought that. You send people into depression because we kind of hit on that on a couple of shows ago
Yeah,
about depression and suicide thoughts and stuff like that. Because I'm sure a lot of people have killed themselves during this time. You know, lost their job, COVID. You know, uh, can't find work or whatever the case may be. But I think for me personally, uh, some people just can't handle the way how this society is moving. But I mean, I know a higher power, but but you have those who don't know that entity that will keep them or sustain them during this time of crisis. Come on, Doc Evans, and expound on that.
You talking about you say when the money run out, we have something higher that we believe. Is that say that again?
Well, like I said, in my opinion, when it comes to certain attributes, when we're talking about the finance part or the
Uh-huh.
inflation, some people just can't handle, so they go into a deep depression.
Okay.
They're not used to not having or being on unemployment and all that stuff, and they just say, you know what, I just go ahead and take myself out of this situation.
Uh-huh.
But of course, like I said, I know a high power that can keep me from doing such things. Some people, revert to crime and all this other stuff. So tell me what you think on it, about, do you see individuals, or do you think individuals go into the depression? Because that's a good point Dr. Hagler brought up. Because I really haven't thought about that in that sense, doing, this particular subject we talking about. But depression it will kick in, you know.
Right.
So tell me what you think about that.
Okay. So here's my point on that. Man, look, the first most important thing is your foundation, your spiritual foundation first
Correct.
before the money.
Correct.
So, but as you could tell how America going crazy, a lot of people don't have the spiritual foundation, you know.
That's number one.
And that's number one. Then number two is like your people from Mississippi, huh? Just like my people. So you know, we probably if the food was to run out and stuff like this, we probably could survive, you know, a little
Correct.
bit longer than others because we got survival tactics, you know,
Correct. Correct.
and some people, a lot of people don't have that. Like, man, I was so blessed, man, to have two grandmas. Um,
Yeah,
from
one of them I met. Did I meet that one? Yeah.
yeah,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
and you know, they taught me, you know, how to live off the land and how to work and you know
Survive.
survive, man. Like how to, you know,
Make
I'm little or
adjustments as
nothing.
you go.
I'm
Yeah.
little or nothing. So
Yeah. I
this really
mean,
ain't nothing to some of us, but to
correct.
some of us, like you say, we want to commit suicide. But
Easy
to
way
us,
out.
it's just like a you know, it'll get better.
Yeah, that's part of the journey. Come on, Rod T.
Yeah,
I agree with Brother Marvin just said. You know, I'm not built like you know. I never say never, but I believe I can say it in this case. I don't think I could ever take my own life. But depression is a real thing. But Unc, I think what Dr. Hagler was saying was a financial depression, if I'm not mistaken. Is that
Correct.
true?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Correct.
to that point, I agree because you know every reaction has a chain reaction. You know what I mean? Every action therefore leads to
Right.
every cause and effect. So if you keep printing money out the air, it's kind of like like a bubble popping. You can only put so much air into something until it explodes, until it pops to the bottom
Right.
falls out.
Right.
So I mean, if if that did happen, I mean, it would be a whole nother way of life, and I would hope for me personally that I could that I know I've tried my best to to acclimate to that way of life. You know what I mean? I hope it
Right.
doesn't happen, but
Well,
I mean, damn,
I
like wow.
I see it happening, but come on, Dr. Hagler, and expound more on the financial depression because I mean I know what you were saying. I just believe because America, you know, me and Scratch Daddy talked about this earlier in the conversation. Look, man, America is basically like Rome, and we know what happened to Rome
Yeah.
because of greed.
Right. And you know what? But to your point, yes, a financial depression will lead to even individual depressions because it's kind of like building your house on sand.
Yeah,
Okay, eventually it's gonna fall, and it's kind of like when you go too fast and too quick. If people say it's too, oh, that's too good to be true.
too good to
You know,
be true. Yeah,
some gonna give.
and
But I'm gonna
something ain't
I'm gonna
right.
tell you
Yeah,
something that I heard from a guy I used to work with, and he said that it was a football team, and this was a true story. I can't think of what team it was. They kept winning, kept winning, kept winning, kept winning, and we all know a consistent win. Say, for instance, you get a football team who got a 13-0 streak. That does not happen all the time. Okay,
correct.
that's okay. So what he said was, they win, 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 win. Somebody asked him, hey, coach, hey, what is the biggest thing? What are you afraid of? He said the one thing I'm afraid of is what am I going to say or do with these guys when they lose?
Wow,
Because they will lose eventually.
wow.
Because
Eventually,
you keep going up, riding you keep riding this plane, up, 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 up. You forget about what it feels like to lose. So what happens when them wings get snatched from underneath you? Do you have that, that parachute underneath you, to carry you through the rough time, to get you back through so you don't slam to the ground?
so
You
so
know, so
that is a true statement of saying uh everything don't last forever.
right. And then when you do it in a fast and false fashion, and
Correct.
when the eventual outcome is going to be these
Right.
folks who get people get money, and not really just thinking about the future. When they get snatched from underneath them, what do you do then? what do you do then?
I mean,
How
and
easy would it become for you to go back to work? How easy is that to get a job?
correct. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people just not, they don't have no adjustment skills. You know, I said once, you know, I'm faced with a challenge, I know how to make adjustments. You know, uh, just like anything going through life. You know, when it's hot, I put on shorts or a t-shirt. When it's cold, I put on a jacket. I make adjustments. You know, as life turns. And you know, I think what it is, people have gone through life so much here in America, and because everything we want it fast, we want it instantly, and we get those. And when things slow down, we can't make adjustments, and it becomes a problem. Come on, Raw T, and expound on that. Do you think America during this time of inflation and getting these stimulus, uh, are they really making good adjustments that uh, can bring us out of this funk that we are in?
Are you talking about the government or the
Yeah,
people?
just America, the American people, and the way how things is going in this society now. You know, because you know we still dealing with this COVID, but I
Yeah.
think, of course, I know it's man made, and it's like you forcing the people to pay for a lot of stuff that people wasn't ready for. You know, some people had to dip into their savings just to function and to live and to have some sense of normalcy. Tell me what you think. That is this all a coincidence or is by design? That's the question I really want to answer, and I want everybody to give me at least 2 to 3 minutes to expound on that same question. Go ahead, Roti.
I believe it's by design because
Oh, all right,
me and my buddy, we talk a lot about this, off air, off wax, and
right.
one of his favorite sayings is always follow the money, and
Huh.
Scratch that, and hit a big point with big pharma getting billions from this, and also say Amazon, you know what I mean? Amazon online retail probably making a killing from this because
Right.
like Scratch said, you sitting at home with more money than you had when you was working. So excess income, you're gonna hit up Amazon, you're gonna stream HBO Max, you're gonna do all of these things to pass the time instead of investing it or whatever. You're gonna spend that money. So I think it sounds like a wealth shift, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's a strong statement. Come on, Dr. Hagler.
Well, I think it's by design, because just think about how everything that is going in place, where the money is going to, you know,
Mm.
um, we know this company is ran, is ran by large corporations,
Correct.
Mm.
Correct.
and I mean, look at Amazon, just the owner alone, where it used to be, he's worth what, $50 billion or something like that, or more
No,
than that.
not like
100,
that.
about 120.
120 billion. Yeah, he's up
Yeah.
there. He's a
Wow.
big. That's a contributor. Goes back to sitting at home in order.
Yeah.
Just that money that's coming in is going right back out.
Going
You know,
right
you
back
know,
out.
if he ain't on
Trust me, I know. I
the
already
only
know.
the only folks that's really benefit from it are the folks at the top.
At the top.
Politicians, big CEOs, and we're the folks down here, middle, lower class, incomes. We just feeding right back into it,
Yep.
and we have to understand the whole purpose of the cycle or how it goes, and not try best not to feed back into it.
So
Yeah.
so to be fair, that statement of saying 5% of the people own 95% of the wealth.
Wow.
Yep. Hmm.
Okay, now watch that. You already know because me and Scratch Daddy discussed this a little earlier. Like, hey, well, if I'm part of the 95%, how is y'all owning me? Y'all can't own me because I'm making y'all money.
Mm.
Okay. Now, scratch that out. My question was, is that you know, during this inflation time, do you think is everything that has been going on now with the stimulus, is it by design? But you hold your thought. I'm gonna bring Doc Evans in, my good friend here, and let him. Then you go ahead and go after him. Come on, mom, give me 3 minutes.
Well, Doc, I think it's by design, and like what Dr. Hagler was touching on, I believe personally, they trying to get rid of that middle class and just make it a high class
And
and
a
a
low
lower
class.
class. Yeah,
Ooh, boy, look here. Y'all own it tonight.
so like me and you was talking about earlier when we talked on the phone, they got all these high interest rates, and then if your credit score low, they charge you more for stuff. You remember we was talking about that, right?
Right.
So
And somebody who
your credit score is low for a reason, because you had maybe a financial difficulty down the road.
right,
So
but you
I'm
charging me
already
high interest. Yeah, that
yeah.
don't even make sense to me.
So I'm losing. So you gonna take more.
You taking more.
So that right there is a clear it's a clear sign of you trying to make me go lower than what I am. So
Ooh,
it's
come
it's
on.
clearly like they
Yeah.
trying to make this gap.
And man, you hit on something, but you hold your thought on that one because I know Scratch Dad heard that remark. I mean, man, you trying to cancel out a
Hey,
certain class of people. Come on,
not
Doc.
not only interest rates, but taxes. Like, man, our paychecks already get taxed, before we even our gross and then our net, right?
Right.
That's like a couple $100, however much money you make, that's a couple $100 a week. So
And they tax you on the goods.
yeah, when you go
got
to the store and buy anything, when you put gas
God,
in the car, you
y'all terrible tonight, boy.
Man,
you getting taxed every which and way it is.
Yeah.
Man.
Ooh, come on, Scratch Daddy.
oh, you mean to tell me you're gonna take my money before I spend my money? Ain't that
You
something?
gonna take my money
And then
before-
take it again two
Then
times.
Then
take
take
it
it again. And then at the end
Yeah.
of the year, I want all of it.
and then they gonna tax you on what they owe you. Now, ain't that something? But I don't get the interest because you holding my money for a whole year.
And you get taxed when you die too.
Oh, I tell you, boy.
I wanted you to get into what we talked about earlier about Rome falling. America gonna fall the same way.
It
But
is.
Rome fell. Who benefited from that and who gained power? We talked about how the Vatican
Right.
gained power. So when you think about all the stuff that Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and all these guys are doing, trying to start this alternative life on Mars with, they already got a currency. They already picked out a currency
Correct.
to have in place when they make this transition. My question would be, wouldn't it be easier to deal with the situations here as opposed to trying to go millions, I don't know how far, millions, I guess millions of miles away, and you're gonna end up doing the same thing
Anyway.
yeah, anyway. So I mean, we definitely, if we stuck in these apartments or wherever we live or these homes that don't have yards, if we can grow our own food, then hyperinflation, depression, none of that affects the bad economy. None of that affects us if we supporting ourselves. So why aren't we as a people? We relying on these individuals in Washington D.C. to make decisions for us, and we're capable of making decisions for ourselves. I don't need leadership. I am a leader.
Well,
So
that's a mouthful right there, Doc.
yeah. So I mean, I don't need you to worsen my condition, and then I got to dig myself out of it. So
Now, I'm going to say this here, and we can hold this maybe on the next show because the next show we're going to get into. I will tell you guys, but this statement right here is what we're going to be talking about next. Do you think the religion sect is also supporting what these rich companies and the government is doing towards the people? Because when I think of the community church, they extend their hand to help and to aid those that are in need. However, when you talk about Rome, we know Vatican is in Rome, but we know Rome fell. But look, like you said, look who benefited from it, because those that was rich, they gave their money to the church based on they were selling purgatory. Like, hey, you give me, you won't go to hell. You go straight to heaven, and that is why the Roman Catholic Church is rich, super rich. They wealthy. They can pay off all those little boys they molested, they pay them off, no problem. They got stuff now where if you was molested by a minister or preacher, just call this number and the lawyer gonna get you some money. They rich, but it's what it is. It shows me where and America is wrong, and we know what happened to wrong, and we know America is greedy, and we know what happened to those that are greedy. Now, to be on the safe side, because we at the 50-minute mark, to be on the safe side for what we are talking about tonight, let me just say this here, because I ain't gonna try to, I'm trying to be diplomatic and try to, try to
Don't
be nice.
sugarcoat it, give it to her raw.
America is heading for, I would say the worst state they're going to be in, because, Rome never recovered, period. When I said they didn't recover, they didn't recover. It just appears that way now, and greed will imprison every individual who takes on that word, being greed. You're holding stuff back. I heard this minister said, you never seen a U-Haul behind a hearse, because you can't take none of this stuff with you. Nature is always going to advance itself. Going to always, you can't kill off, but you kill off mankind, but you can never kill off. So, like Scratch Daddy made that point about you. They want to go to the Mars and to other planets and all this other stuff. You cannot hide from death, period. I don't care how you want to look at it, you cannot hide from it. And what it does is it makes you think and wonder, like, does these people that is in charge basically over our lives, because basically we put them over our lives. And anybody know the word government, you know what that means, because actually govern means to rule or to be over, and then mint, not MENT, MINT. You telling those who you put in charge, you govern my money, my government, my money. So, and then we figure, say, okay, whatever they do with it is fine, long as I get what I need to get out of it, better streets, community, schools, whatever. And we forget we gave them that power to do whatever. So guess what? That money you looked at, you think you got, I got 40 hours overtime. No, they're going to tax you on that. You don't get all of that. And it's a crying shame that not only they tax you on your overtime, they also, watch that, tax you on the stuff or the things or the needs or the goods that you buy for your household. As well as going, you going to school thinking that you're going to get that education for free. You ain't getting that for free. All that is being taken out, and you have to repay it back. So let's all come to our senses on that. We all are faced with a challenge that, hey man, we got to make some adjustments to what's going on around us, and especially in the financial situation. I know we used to certain things, but we got to learn how to cut back. Honestly, we got to cut back. Come on, doctor. I'm gonna give you a minute. You expound on something with us, and then we'll move to the next one, and I'll close it out.
All right. Well, I just kind of want to close by saying, I think as a people, we need to to realize, what's going on, and like Scratch Daddy said, we have the power as a people to control, which direction we go, which direction our generations to come goes.
Correct. Correct.
So I think that's kind of, in my opinion, that kind of summarizes what this whole inflation and this whole quote unquote government, they behind the wheel. We can disturb that if we just be diligent and disciplined.
Yes, sir.
And you know, and try to steer our own way instead of waiting for somebody else to make a decision for us. So
That's good. Come on, Raw T.
You know, Uncle, I just want to say this. You killing it with that hat over there, brother. That hat real smooth. I want to say that. You know, you always been the smooth uncle. But I say this, you know, when y'all was speaking of Rome, it just something came up in you know, in my head. You know, if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. So that it just seems like that's the path we on, you know, because I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, because
Okay.
I'm agreeing with you.
Because I'm pretty sure everybody's heard of Rome or the fall of it and what led to it. And it seems like, you know, I've read upon it. We doing the same exact things. So it's like we haven't learned nothing. And
man,
and we all agree. Well, not all of us, because like you said, 95% of the wealth is had by 5%. So they're the ones making the choices. So you know, is like you said, like you and Scratch Daddy said, if we could all come together as a 95%, we could do some things, you know, but we're so divided with you can just, you know, it's a whole array of things that I believe is put there to divide us, so we won't come together. Like how you and Scratch Daddy said y'all should have came together when y'all I'm sorry, when y'all was on the team, you know, when y'all was telling me about that.
Correct. Yeah.
Y'all, you know,
yeah.
You know, if you come together,
the same applies to the same thing.
But keep everybody divided. You know, divide and conquer.
Yeah, that
is
true. Come on, Marvin.
Nah, I be like I watch YouTube a lot, and then I like to watch a lot of you know, documentaries, like real true stuff.
Yes, sir.
And then also my dad. It's like I'm like people feel off like I'm gonna use Jay-Z for instance. Like man, if people like him is starting to say you know, like they used to wear them big chains and
correct.
You know, they even very well off people are starting to be like, I'm not wasting. Like the people with all the money in the world are starting to say things like, man, I don't need that anymore. I don't like, they can have anything they want in the world, but they are starting to say, I'd rather not waste my money. Like you got all the money in the world, but you saying you don't want to waste your money on something. So I think us down here should, you know, start, you know, if they saying they got all the money in the world and they trying to save money, man, we got a problem down here.
Correct.
Yeah.
Come on, Scratch Daddy.
Well, I want to close it in talking about Rome, and how they you know, they debased their money, which led to their demise. And I do believe that it was by design. Same thing with America.
Boy,
you know, Rome was they had pure gold, and they started like clipping the coins and melting that down, and then making a cheaper form of that same money. Same thing with the American economy. When the last time you bought a bag of chips, and it you know, back in when we was young, that bag was heavy, it was full. Now, man, I don't feel like nothing in the chip bag.
Halfway.
You know what I'm saying?
And you got a big bag.
It's halfway. You're right.
Halfway.
And it costs more.
Full of air, too.
Full of air, it costs more. One more thing I want to say, because y'all talking about the IRS and all that stuff, and it made me think about my ex-girlfriend when I explained to y'all about how she up there in Wisconsin, they feeding the refugees. She told me she making $4,000 a week. She's losing $1,000 in taxes. So my response to that was, well, why you just don't go exempt? You know what she told me? Because they're not allowing us to.
Boy, now ain't that
when in life you couldn't go exempt?
Yeah, when?
Because when they started doing that?
Because last time I checked, it's quite a few of those super rich get exempt for some certain things.
She said they cannot go exempt. Period. Nobody that's on that job can go exempt.
So you mean $4,000 a week? They take 1,000.
They taking 1,000
and make interest off that 1,000, and call themselves want to give you back. Well, we holding your money to end of the year. Like, no, I can make my own decision. I can make my own choices and how I should spend my money or save my money or to invest my money or to put it away for my kids.
Yeah.
I don't need your decision. And see, this the problem is that America have become brainwashed by what has been put in place and not really doing research. Now, we'll talk about this on the next show because the next show we're going to be is going into the religious part of it and how religion have set the tone on what has been taking place. Because my question was to scratch that earlier is that who is the powerful man? Who is the powerful man in the world? We know it's the Pope. It ain't the president. It ain't none of the presidents that you see in these 7 continents. You ain't gonna forget that. It's
Man,
the
don't
Pope.
get us canceled now.
And he runs all.
Might click off right now.
You ain't lying.
So let's just it might will, but you know what? I tell you what, if that's the case, then because what it does, it goes to show you that I do think for myself, and I'm sure everybody on this panel, you think for yourself, because if you think for yourself, you find yourself thinking more in advance to say, no, that just don't sound right, or it just don't feel right for me to do for my family, because you're thinking. I know a lot of people just go whatever. Well, whatever they decide to do, I'm fine. No, you don't ask questions. See, and that's the problem. Is that, and I'm gonna bring this up next week. Let me just give you a quick foretaste. I was taught from my Mississippi background, mothers and great grandmothers and all that. Don't you question God? No, what you was really saying, don't you question that white man? Because if you question him, you're gonna get beat to death, or you may get hung. Now, people can take it like they want to, but these are true facts. I had my uncle to get hung. So, because he didn't want to keep his mouth shut. But however, these are just facts. I ain't gonna sit up here and lie. But the very moment is that we have that brain that it should function for us. We should think for ourselves. And because we have people that think for us, we tend to not say anything, but you have a lot to say. Guys, it's been a blast. We at the 1 hour mark. Man, that's the first time we went over an hour.
And we still got some more in the tank.
And still got some more in the tank to talk about.
Yeah,
man, I'm glad that y'all came on tonight, man. And if let me just say this here quickly. Let me go to the big screen. If you want to be a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button. But anything that we say tonight is based on our own opinion. Anything we say is our facts that we have looked up, and we do not meant to infringe on anybody's feelings or step on anyone's toes. But we just share how we feel, and this is just our opinion. Now, with that being said, I thank God that y'all was good listening tonight, and we are going to end it. And I hope you have a blessed night.
Good night,